We're at the trailhead for Prospect Trail in Valley of Fire State Park, Nevada. And we are going to take this 4.6 mile trail up to a place called White Dome. There's a loop there. And then perhaps what we'll do is go across to Fire Wave Loop. Very, very beautiful area. I hear this trail is unmarked, and so it's going to be another one of those Valley of Fire experiences of getting on the trail and trying to pick your way through an area that the trail appears and disappears, but we're going to do it. We've got to go through this to the left of this rock formation, and I think I can see where this would go. I think it's going to go between the red rock and the brown hill straight ahead, and then we're going to find out what happens next. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to find out today. This should be very beautiful. And looking for some bighorn sheep, because this is the time they should be up eating. And if they're not, they should be. So we're going to find out. So here we go. By the way, it is the second Saturday in January 2020. And the temperature here is approximately between 25 and 30 degrees. This is why I go in the lower desert area. Well, it's 2,500 feet approximately, but this is why I take the lower desert area, because Mount Charleston at this point is usually 40 degrees cooler. So do the math, and you're looking at between -15 and -10 degrees. So that's why I'm not there, and I'm here instead. Here we go. Haven't gone very far, but just wanted to say my goal was to arrive here at sunrise. There's the sunrise, and I hadn't expected to see the moon set at the same time, but there is the moon set. So sunrise and moon set. Very beautiful out here. Well, I've already made a wrong turn, believe it or not. I was lulled into a false sense of security with this being a road and thinking, well, wow, we're on Prospect Road, an old road that's been closed off. However, that road ends here. Now, I saw a break-off trail to the right and to the left. So I'm going to retrace my way a little bit and go back to where that trail breaks off and see, determine which direction I need to go to stay on Prospect Trail. So, and evidently it's not going to go through that area that I thought between the red and the brown hills. So we're going to pick out the way to find where this trail actually is. Here we go. I'm following my philosophy: when all else fails, look at a map. And it does look like indeed I need to be heading around the left side of that brown hill. Here's the red rock here. And sure enough, I see a little marker up ahead. Let's see if I can find it here. There we go. See, there's a little marker. I don't know if that's a trail marker or what, but what I'm going to do is just head around the left side of that hill system and just see where that leads. I know I need to go on the other side of these hills, and maybe when I get higher up, I'll see White Dome, and that'll show me where I'm going. But yes, truly they were right. This trail is not marked. Okay, if you could call it a trail. Okay, here we go. Apologies to the park system. Once you make that first turn off of the road, which is right before, you keep going straight instead of going over to that little structure that I showed in the video earlier. The indication of going straight is not really clear from that road because you're just lulled into that idea that, hey, it's a road, but it's really not. Anyway, once you get off the road and you continue on, yes, it does look like a trail, and so we're back on track and things are looking good. Okay, continuing on. Okay, my first indication was right, that you go, or correct I should say, that you go between the red and the brown mountain. And actually, this does not need to be marked any better than it is right now because it is an old road. The only problem that I had was when I veered off to the right down below and just went, a couple hundred feet out of my way to that structure. Had I continued to go straight, and basically this is a straight trail, had I continued to go straight, I would have been on track. And you can see there are little markers along the way, even though they said there weren't markers. And it's a straight shot, and it's a little road up to this point at least. And so there is really no way to get lost on the Prospect Trail. Maybe you can learn from my little deviation, but that wasn't even too far off. Okay, continuing on. Now this little road with markers along the way is diving down and going into a canyon, and once again weaving its way between the red and the brown rock hills. And let's just take a 360-degree view because this is a high point and we're not going to be able to look back and see the panorama again because we're diving down into a canyon. But let's get some perspective here. So the beginning of the Prospect Trail is straight ahead. The beehive area is right down here. There's the beehives, and then we move to the right a bit and we have Atlatl Rock, and then to the right of that is Arch Rock, and then moving along, the west entrance of the park is right in, right through this opening here between these hills. And so now we have a frame of reference, which I always like to have, just in case I lose a trail, and then I can go to a high point and I can look at all those landmarks. So here we are, beautiful red and brown canyon that we're about to go through. Should get a lot of wonderful views down here. Okay, here we go. Continuing on through this little canyon, actually very beautiful. I do have a question that I'm going to try and answer at some point. There are loop trails that give a distance, and that's pretty clear. If the loop trail says it's 1 mile, then you know it's 1 mile. This trail is a straight out and back trail, and it says 4.6 miles. So does that mean 4.6 miles each way, or 4.6 miles out and back? We shall see, and I'll have kind of an indication what it might be. I don't have a pedometer. I can't tell the exact distance, but we'll have an idea before the end of the day. Okay, onward. Once again, we have a Martian landscape here. We've entered into this. Just like Fire Canyon of our last trip. Very, very beautiful. And we are immediately between the red and the brown mountain. And you can see we are heading straight between the two. We'll see what things look like a little further up. Here we go. Time for another 360-degree view. The rocks are very beautiful in this area. And it is very cold. There's frost on some of the rocks. Love looking through these little perspectives. That's the direction we're heading. And this is what we are passing through at the moment. Okay, we're reaching a point where we're going to lose the view to the rear because we're taking a turn through the canyon now. And so let's take a look where we are. Sun is coming up, which means you can see the beauty of these rocks much better. Here we are looking back where we came from. Very, very nice trail. I'd highly recommend this. Looking into the rising sun there. And then once again looking ahead. So let's see what we find out. It looks like we're going to reach a high point beyond this rock formation, about maybe 1,000 feet beyond, and we'll be able to look in both directions, out and back. Okay, here we go. Look back. Beautiful views in the canyon. Remember what I said about the frost on the rocks. This should be a red rock. All the white you see is frost. It is very cold, and the sun gets hidden because of one of these rock formations, or you're in the canyon, and temperature drops about 15 to 20 degrees, and then you end up in the sun, and so it's very hard to figure out how to keep warm or keep the right temperature without having to change, add layers and take layers off. Takes too much time, so I'm just going to be cold. Okay. So there's a beautiful 360-degree view. Some of these rocks, we'll catch them again in the full sun on the way back. And this park seems to grow balancing rocks. So there's a little precariously perched rock. Definitely from when the hills were a lot higher. So eventually I imagine these hills are going to wear down to just a memory of the red rock. So these shots are hopefully enduring, and we'll show you what this was like before the hills wore down. Not that that's going to happen anytime soon. I'd say in another couple million years. Okay, onward. Okay, we've topped the hill, and now we're looking down toward the Fire Canyon area, actually. And so here's a quick 360. There's the red rock side. Here's where we came from. And then here's that brown hill. And as we thought in the beginning, we went right between the two. So onward. Okay, we're circling around the edge of the red rock system. There's that system there that we were looking at from the beginning. We reached it, and we went through between the red and the brown hill, and now we are circling around to the right, and the trail, as you can see, has narrowed. The canyon has narrowed, and it's a little rougher, but nothing to worry about at this point. Everything's looking really good. This is an awesome trail. And of course, the ever-present rock formations. Okay, onward. Okay, here we are entering into a canyon. And this is the canyon wash. Take a look at the beautiful views around us. The walls of the canyon have, of course, risen, are much higher, at least on the right side as we continue forward. The trail is actually very well marked. You can see posts all along the way, so that you're not going to get lost on this trail. You just look for the posts. And have you ever noticed when you're in nature, you don't see many straight lines? There is a wealth of information flooding into the brain at all times of just all the shapes and designs that you see around you. No straight lines. I think it's got to do something for intelligence. Just, getting out regularly, away from the four walls, the very sanitized view of building, of the roads that you drive on. Everything seems to be straight lines, where you get out in nature and your brain is just flooded with a wealth of information constantly. And it just, I think it affects awareness mentally. It affects attitude, emotions. It's one of those subconscious things that you may not notice when you're out in nature. You just know that you feel more at peace, and you feel better after having spent some time in a place like this. And part of that is just the variety of information that you're processing, exposed to, peaceful, beautiful. So there you have it. And we're continuing along down Prospect Trail, which has now become a canyon wash. A quick 360. Here we are looking down the canyon. The walls definitely rising up all around us. Just immense. You're looking back, and the rock formations just never cease to amaze me. Onward. Okay, we're getting to a point where I think we're going to emerge from this canyon, but what I wanted to show you is that we're reaching a point where the rock is changing, and we're getting some of that fire wave look. When you see the waves of colors in these rocks, and we're going to see a lot more of this up ahead. Very beautiful. And when the sun comes out and rises above this canyon area, we're going to see even more. Now, I believe we might be looking at the White Domes area up ahead down this canyon. And these might be white domes, but I'm not sure. We'll find out when we get there. But the Prospect Trail, when you reach the White Domes, on the White Domes side, where the Prospect Trail ends, there's a loop, and you go around the White Domes loop. So we'll see if we can identify that loop, and then we'll know where we are. And by the way, another example of a good trail marker here. As long as you keep your eyes open, there's no getting lost on this trail. Fantastic. Looks like the White Domes are starting to come into sharper view. We're getting closer. There they are. Pretty amazing. And then just to give you a 360-degree view, we're emerging from the canyon that Prospect Trail passes through. There's where we came from. And you can see we're still in a pretty narrow canyon, but it's starting to widen out. And of course, there you go, the White Domes. We're going to see them much more closely in just a bit. Here's the direction we came from, the canyon wash. And now, here's where we're going, closing in on the White Domes. Let's see if I can get up here without tripping over something. Here we are. White Domes. Okay, continuing on. Continuing toward the domes. Few additional twists and turns. And as you can see, looking down in this direction, we have passed through a narrow spot in the canyon. Another quick 360, and here we are continuing down the canyon. There's been a lot of twists and turns here, so finding my way back along the Prospect Trail is not necessarily going to be the easiest thing, but we'll take that, cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, onward. Well, we've seen a number of false domes. Now, I think this might be a white dome. Who knows? I think we might have left Prospect Trail and we are on the White Dome's loop at this point, but I'm not sure because I'm coming at this from way far away rather than driving to the White Dome's parking area and then just going around the loop. So yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. So I'm left to guess. Where am I? Okay. Continuing on toward that white dome. Well, I'm thinking these really look like white domes. If they are not, then they should be. We should take a vote. Everyone who believes that these should be the white domes, whether they are or not, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. These are the white domes. So we must be on the White Dome's loop. Here's a 360-degree view where we are. Sun is coming out, so we're getting much better views. We're getting less shade, more sun, which is good. Don't want to go all the way around 360 because we'd be looking right into the sun. So, okay, there we are, White Domes. I'm going to guess I'm on the White Dome's loop trail at this time. Passing around the back side of the White Domes if you're looking from a perspective of the parking area. That's just a wild guess. I don't know exactly where I am since we came from the Prospect Trail, which is on the other side of the park. But let's go ahead and see. That looks like a dome up ahead. Well, this sign answers our question, which was, do these trails, when they give a distance, these out and back trails, are they for the out and back trip, or is the distance for just one way? And here's our answer. The distance is just one way. So we've gone 5.5 miles so far, and we're going to take 5.5 miles on the way back. So we're definitely on the White Dome's loop. Very beautiful canyons with the fire wave look here in the rocks. We're going to see more of that today. Okay, onward. We are embarking on the White Dome's loop, 1 mile loop. Rounding the first corner in the White Dome's loop. Get a 360 degree. This is definitely the white area. By the way, the red, they call it Aztec Sandstone, is about 200 million years old, from the age of the dinosaurs. And it's believed that iron was leached up through the soil to make that red look. And pretty amazing that we're going to see a lot of combinations of white and red, including stripes. We'll see much more of that in the fire wave area, but for now we're doing the White Domes loop. Okay, we're rounding the first corner on the White Domes, and you can see all the different colors here. The darker color on this white is from oxidation and the work of water and air, and then definitely the sun creates a varnish over time. It takes thousands of years to create that varnish on the rocks. Okay, onward. Continuing around the White Domes, let's go ahead and do a quick 360. Bit of an echo in this area, and you can see the colorful rocks. This looks like an old structure. Let's see what it was. Built for a movie set, the professionals. Interesting. Okay, let's carry on. Arrows. Let's get another 360. Time for another 360. This is a continuation around the 1 mile White Domes loop. We actually reached this point from the Prospect Trail, which is up that canyon, and we'll arrive back at this point going around the other side of the loop a little later today. But this gives us an idea of the White Domes loop. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take this side because it's sunnier and lighter, and hopefully later today, the other side will be sunnier and lighter. Here we go. Continuing on around the loop. Here we are continuing along White Dome's loop. Get a 360. Colors certainly change as the sun rises. Every time you look at this scenery throughout the day, it's uniquely different. A little more of that fire wave action straight ahead. Onward. Continuing to round the domes. Let's get another 360. Okay, onward. Topping a little ridge. Let's take another 360. And it appears from the direction of the trail markers on this loop that it is a counterclockwise loop around the domes. A pretty cool framed view. This is a good look through the canyon that we just passed. And I believe those hills up ahead, the brown hills, are the brown, where we passed brown on one side and red on the other on the way up the Prospect Trail. It's always good to get a frame of reference. But this is pretty cool. Get some real stark contrast between the white and the red. Pretty amazing. Okay, continuing on. approaching the conclusion of the White Domes loop, and here's the White Domes loop parking lot. And as you can see, we're at the very end of the Valley of Fire scenic route.